am I echoing? Why am I echoing? My microphone is displayed 3 times on the stream overlay. What on earth happened? We have a new head pats counter for this game. I think I'll keep a head pats counter for all the games. Final Fantasy VIII is a game that is, I wouldn't say it's close to my heart because it's not a very good game, but it's yeah, I think it's like the first, I think it was actually maybe the first PlayStation 1 game, probably not. I think I played like some basic games, like I think Hogs of War and other silly like cruddy games that you give to little kids and stuff like that. It was just some sort of shooter game where you played as a bunch of pigs in weird parody military costumes who like shot weird weapons and stuff like that. That's the only thing I can remember, I think. But I think it might be that, or it might have been Theme Park, which might have been my first PlayStation 1 game. But this was like my first PlayStation 1 game that I actually cared about and was actually decent and gave me any sort of good memories. Yeah, I still remember like the first time I saw this. Like, did I tell you this, guys? This in last year. The first time I saw this game, I literally like I woke up out of my dream and ran down the stairs from the sheer force of how awesome the battle music sounded. Like I woke up and I was like, "What is that amazing music?" Am I still dreaming? This is so transcendent and awesome. And I ran downstairs and my mum's boyfriend was playing this game. And I was like, "What is this? I need it," because the power of the battle theme was that cool. And I ended up playing it way earlier than I should have played it, because like, it turned out my mum's boyfriend was actually a really shitty person, who I learned about. I won't go into the details, but it turns out he was like really awful, and we learned that later. So like it was probably a warning sign that he like exposed the kids to like a lot of stuff that was like way beyond their age grade. Like for this, it's fine. Like Final Fantasy VIII, it's not like super adult or mature or anything, but like it's got quite a few swear words. Well, not swear words. It's got like minced oath type swear words in it, and quite a few like dark elements in it. And I was like 9, so it probably wasn't very good. Yeah, exactly. This game has one of the best soundtracks in Final Fantasy, even if it's not necessarily got the best plot. It's also got some really good graphics and really good character designs and just a lot of good stuff that was maybe a bit too ambitious for the time, and it ended up falling short of being as good as it was trying to be, I guess. So yeah, I'm excited to play this. I'm excited to hear all these amazing songs again, because oh my god, they are burned into my soul. And Man on a Machine Gun is definitely the best song in the whole soundtrack and the whole of the entirety of Final Fantasy series. Anyway, let's carry on with play game. So I've noticed the game has some sort of like black borders around it, which is kind of weird. I don't know if maybe those will go away in gameplay, but like there's black borders around the side, so like the window is like bigger than it's supposed to be. Anyway, I'll shush up because lovely intro. Also, that's an excellent choice. Seriously, they know what the best songs are. I'll turn the music up on this. I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. The game had a lot of balance issues. Tell me if a song is loud enough or quiet enough, or yeah. So the problem is, and the balance issues in Final Fantasy VIII was so weird that like at some points like you could easily overpower so much in the game, but then also if you messed up slightly, you get easily steamrolled by everything, because it's got the thing where like the enemies only level up when you level up. So if you end up leveling up too fast before like stumbling into all of the stuff that makes you overpowered, then the game becomes impossibly hard, and it's impossibly hard to even like become overpowered. But like if you know what you're doing, you can become so overpowered you steamroll the entire game like right at the start. But it's just so poorly balanced. Like they had the ambitious idea of the enemy levels will scale with your levels, but they didn't do even the slightest bit of balancing any of it, and it's just like that must have been very hard to play test, and they just didn't. So I guess that makes sense, but like if it's something that's too hard to play test to get it all balanced, then just don't use it. I really love that bit in the opening scene where all the feathers come out of the sword. It makes no sense. This opening is just like, it's got nothing to do with the actual game. It's just a whole shipload of like some random things taken from other cutscenes. Like this is taken from a later cutscene in the game, and some stuff that's just like random thematic nonsense that has no representation of anything in the entire world. Yeah, exactly. This game is like a million different good ideas that just don't. It's so many good ideas that just don't mesh together at all with each other, and there wasn't even really an effort made to mesh them together with each other, and it just felt like they were trying to do everything. Exactly, the story is like 5 different stories, and it just keeps like every single disc is like, oh, we'll just abandon everything that happened in the last disc and just completely start over and shoot plot practically. like, even right up to the final disc, it's just the final boss battle. Like, the final boss battle is so different from everything that came before. Wow, the music is sounding really quiet on my end. Is it sounding too quiet on your end, guys? Ah, okay. Funny thing is that they censored one of the monster designs for having blood on it, but there's clearly blood shown in the opening FMV right there. So I don't know what the point was of that. Also, I just like that the logo is a big hug. I like that this is a romantic lead story where, like, the big romantic moment is a big hug. I just like that. It's just refreshingly unique. Also, you can immediately see the problem with the remastered character models and not the backgrounds. Like, oh my god, they're living in JPEG artifacts land. Dr. Kadawaki says, how are you feeling? Okay, I guess. My forehead hurts. Okay, that's weird. The sound of the buttons is much louder than the music. Ow, me forehead. That's the only thing of the intro that actually physically happened. That's the only thing in the intro that actually physically happened. Is Squall got into a fight with someone and got his forehead cut, and then he gets a cool scar for the rest of it. I found it funny how the cool scar is like so emphasized as like a part of him, and it turns out it's just caused by like an accident in a training fight because his rival got too carried away, and there's no real like big dramatic backstory to the cool scar. It's just literally a guy was running with scissors basically and poked him in the head. I'm running with gun blades, but you know, my forehead hurts. Poor Babu. No kidding. I remember I really liked this doctor lady. Looks like your eyes are focusing. You should be fine. Say your name for me. What shall we name our protagonist? What shall we name our protagonist? What shall we name our protagonist, guys? I found it interesting how the remaster kind of changes his character model. It's like, it's not just a straight remastering, he's got like a different haircut. He's got like a haircut that's longer, like originally it was like he was all buzzed short at the back and only long at the front, and now his hair is like equally long all the way through. It looks more like his Kingdom Hearts design. So yeah, should we go for the default name? I've never actually played a single Final Fantasy game where I kept the default names before, so that'd be interesting. No, I remember when I was playing this one in particular, I didn't name the characters after myself, I named the GFs after myself, because I didn't want to be this protagonist guy because he's a jerk, but then I ended up naming the GFs after myself, and that was kind of fun. I can't remember which one I called myself. It might have been Quetzalcoatl, because that was like the first one you get, and I thought it was really funky cool. Like, it's a slug bird. I just love it. It's a slug bird. It's one of my favourite GF designs in the entire history. Oh, by the way, GF Guardian Forces for... I don't know how many people have played this game, but yeah, it's basically the name of this game uses for Eidolons or Espers or whatever they were called in the middle of a game. Summon creatures. This game would be better if it was about Squall and his army of monster girlfriends. Or maybe we'll give him like a synonym or something. Tempest sounds so fucking badass. Tempest sounds like the sort of name that Squall would give himself. That sounds like the sort of name that Squall would give himself, like, I am Squall the Tempest. I'm the most badass guy with no emotions ever, he says, emotionally. Why don't you take it easy in training? Next time you might not be so lucky. Tell it to Cypher. That Cypher won't listen to anyone. Why don't you ignore him? Why don't you just ignore him when he stabs you in the face, Squall? Why don't you just ignore him? That's such a terrible advice, Dr. Kadawaki. I can't just run away. You want to be cool, huh? Well, don't get hurt in the process. She says as I literally just got hurt in the process. See, that's an interesting thing. Squall's catchphrase of whatever was actually a mistake made, well, not a mistake, but like a choice, I guess, made in the translation. His original catchphrase was like saying I'm sorry in a kind of like terse way. Like, which is a really different tone to it. Like, he was saying something that could be interpreted as, like, slightly sassy or also be genuine, depending on the context. And it just got changed to saying that's always sassy in every context. I just think that's changed a lot of tone in him, because from what I remember in this game, Squall sounds like a total asshole early in the game. It takes a really long time for you to figure out that, like, actually he's, like, being defensive and he's got, like, emotional issues and he's just trying to put up barriers because he's scared of being alone. But, like, apparently in the Japanese version it was more easily foreshadowed with his catchphrase being not quite so ag. I like to ramble about it every few years. I just like doing this. Whenever I find a fact about one of my favourite games, everyone will know and everyone will know repeated. Let's see, your instructor is... How do you pronounce her name? Oh really? That's wild. That's so cool. Is it really that long ago that I started talking about this the last time? Wow. But yeah, guys, either of you guys, do you know how you pronounce this name? Like, I pronounced it Quistis whenever I played as a kid, because I just assumed it was pronounced how it was spelled, but I've heard people say it should be called Kistis. Quistis, I'll call it now, just wait here a minute. Quistis is such a fucking amazing name. Seriously. So shame the character isn't better. Like, when I played as a kid, I always felt the character was such wasted potential, because, like, she's a cool, badass, like, teacher lady, but then her entire personality is just, like, having a crush on Squall, who, like, in like, twists later on, you find out that he was, like, her adopted brother, and they just both forgot about it because of amnesia, which makes it all incredibly awkward, because, like, you know from the beginning that, like, she's got a crush on him, it's not going to go anywhere, and then it becomes even more awkward when the game is like, here's even more reasons why it's not going to go anywhere, and it just made me feel so bad for Quistis, serious. Oh, Abby! I love that. An alternate universe where Dr. Snap was translated cute, Squall was translated shy, sweet corn is blue and each is the size of a loaf of bread and the sky is green. I love that. Oh, I see. So it is Kistis. Okay, I'll go with Kistis then. Kistis, come get your student. Yes, yes. His injury's not serious, but he'll probably leave a scar. A badass scar! Right, now please come back. I wonder, like, in the original game, was it actually modelled of him having a bandage on his head at this point? Because I just noticed he's got a bandage on his head at this point. Oh, hello, alone. I mean, person who we do not know yet because spoilers. So, see, as a kid, I still never realised that this is supposed to be alone, even though the game tells you it's alone later on. Like, I couldn't piece together any of the plot as a kid. It was way too much for me. Kiss this creep. For dinner, one sweet corn. He has like a slice of sweet corn. He just like carve into it with a steak knife. Tempest, so we meet again. Why was alone at this point in this game anyway? Like, why was she in the garden and why was she staring for the window and where did she go when she vanished? Oh, hello! We're playing FFVIII. It's a game I have a lot of nostalgia for. Hello, Kistis, who I now know is pronounced Kistis when I thought it was pronounced Quistis. I am so sorry for all the years I got you wrong. Kistis deserved better. She deserved so much better in this game. The plot just doesn't treat her very good. I always had her on my party because I felt so sorry for her. I was like, I'm gonna put her on my party and make her the most badass person ever. And I think I also had Irvine on my party because I just liked his design, even though I didn't like his personality very much. I missed all the nuances for his personality as a kid. I was just like, she's being a perv. See, that's the reason why I think Kistis was like screwed over in the plot of this game. She only exists to be the trope of like over hot teacher, but like technically she's your age, and it's just like apparently it was because she was an overachiever. She got promoted like a few extra classes ahead of everyone else, and then for some reason they just decide that like, when you graduate your final class, you can become a teacher even if you're like the same age as everyone else, and like yeah, but like the game shows how bad a decision it was to make someone the same age as the students be a teacher, and like it just feels like this plot point was only thrown in for the sake of like a weird I guess like, well, not like a fetish fuel or whatever, but like a weird like excuse to have weird shipping with her and Squall, which ends up being denied in the end because it's like, oh, by the way, they were adopted siblings and they just forgot. And like, what was the point of any of this then? Why did you subject me to all that cringy, horrible feeling really bad for Kistis when it all meant nothing in the end? Yeah, exactly. All the characters in this, they don't have any like interchangeable stats or anything really. Yeah, I hate the sexy teacher trope. It's worse when it's an actual fully aged teacher hitting on underage people, but it's just weird in this situation where it's like an underage person has become a teacher just so she can become a sexy teacher. It's weird. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when you can like, they have like the menu and the junction thing where you can just exchange everyone's stats and stuff between them, and it's like, what's the point? You just pick whichever one has the best limit break, I guess. And that's why I went with Kiss, because she has a really good limit break. Anyway, I knew it would be either you or Cypher. I like her fancy hair. It must be very difficult to get it to go that way. Just spent hours in the morning. Come on, let's go. Today's a field exam. I remember as a kid I adored the field exam section. I adored so much of the early stages of the game because I just really liked the school sections. I wanted the whole game just about being in a magic sci-fi school and doing magic sci-fi school stuff. It was such a shame that it just completely abandoned it all after disc 1. I remember I liked this section too, where like you walk along and then they talk, and then like you can freely walk and not walk and stuff, but you can never turn back. I don't know why. Also same big mood. I really liked in the other games when you get to choose like. Oh, I miss Kiss's adorable moment where school is like whatever, and she's like whatever. It just shows how they're close friends rather than teacher and student. This makes me so sad that the Kistis is like all his social situation is being totally ruined by this promotion to being a teacher when she's way too young to handle it. What's so funny? Also, her design is weird because she looks like she's like a fully aged teacher, but she's actually supposed to be younger than Squall. Funny? No, it's not that. I'm just happy. I feel like I'm beginning to understand my student a little, that's all. I'm more complex than you think, says Mr. Edgelord. And tell me. Poke. Did she really just... did she poke his cheeks? I imagine she poked his cheeks. That's adorable. Tell me more about yourself. I physically cannot. I am Squall. I have no ability to speak of feelings. I was just born without that lobe of my brain. It's none of your business. Oh, I like their relationship, honestly. Like, they're already acting like a teasing older sister and younger brother, even before you learn that's literally how they are. Oh, I love this zoom out showing the whole garden campus. I want to live here. Yeah, there is a big mood. There is a lot of uncanny stuff about it. Like how the title screen is completely silent and just loads of weird stuff. And it seems it's more just simply incompetence with the game being so rushed and awkward. Oh, thanks. That's a good tip, Tornamus. Because for a lot of time in anime style, I can't even fucking tell how old anyone's supposed to be. I think they look the same age in terms of faces and stuff. I think it's just Kistis' like her outfit and her glasses are like the style that you usually give to an older teacher. That's why it's so weird to me. She looks like a young kid like cosplaying as a teacher. As a kid, I just believed she was actually a teacher because like she has the style and stuff. And as a kid, I was playing this in lower resolution, so I didn't really know what the characters were supposed to look like. I just looked like they looked like in the low resolution overworld models. So I just assumed that she was like 30 or something, and I was like really surprised to turn out she was actually our age, and she's just wearing weird teacher glasses because she's trying really hard to be a teacher, which is really endearing when you think about it. Also, yeah, I hate when they like, the good characters all look young and pretty, and the old the bad characters all look old even if they're not, and it's just very weird. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not very good at recognizing faces. I have face blindness in real life, which it doesn't mean I literally can't see faces, but it means I have trouble telling them apart. So thank you, Tunrus, that's really helpful. Yeah, the idea of like subtle, like if it was like the Doki Doki Literature Club of bad JRPGs. Anyway, let's start with today's schedule. But no, I think it's just because the game was quite rushed and had way too many ideas all crammed together, that sometimes things are just weirdly off. And especially even more off in this goddamn HD remaster where the pre-rendered backgrounds aren't remastered. This screen in particular, it lets you see precisely which characters are animated and which are part of the background. Like, oh my god. Guys! Is it coming through on the stream? Because seriously, the graphics look so absolutely utterly terrible. Like, there's like pixelized cutting around where Squall is sitting on it. Oh my god. My man got bisected by the JPEG. I know, right? She's the most crunchy class ever. It's a nice representation of like anime protagonist syndrome. It's like the further away you get from Squall, the less detailed. It's so wild to think how you didn't know this when you're playing it in like the bad resolution on the original TV screen, because you just couldn't tell. That's wild, future streams. But it just strikes me as really fucking weird and wild how they would dare to release a remaster of a game with the graphics looking this bad. Like, seriously, why did you remaster half of it and not the other half? Like, you may as well at this point just release it as like a mod for the original version or something. Like, this isn't worth buying the game again. I say as someone who bought the game again, because fucking hell, I am a sucker for nostalgia. Anyway, there seem to be have been some rumours flying around since yesterday. Yes, the field exam for seed candidates will begin later. So I always wonder, do you just pronounce it seed or do you pronounce it like CD? Because that would be weird. But yeah. Oh, I had to look up. Apparently, someone found out what seed actually stands for, and it's hilariously stupid. Apparently, what seed stands for is Specialist Lesson, Elegant Man, Elite Danger Zone. What the fuck, man? Seriously? God. Squally Cinchaladas depressingly. That is better. I prefer that one. Specialist Lesson, Elegant Man, Elite Danger Zone. Like, half of those are 2 words. That's not how an acronym works. Yes, the field exam for seed candidates will begin later this afternoon. Those not participating and those who failed last week's written test are to remain here in study hall. Remain here in JPEG land. Field exam participants will have free time until the exam. Just be sure you're in top condition. Big mood. I was trying to say earlier, but I got interrupted by my thoughts. Tortoise, I agree with that. Like, this game has the least appealing set of protagonists to me because they're all like roughly the same age and like they're all the same age and like very similar facial features and similar designs and stuff. And like, yeah, as a kid, I liked Final Fantasy VII's party. I liked Final Fantasy IX's party. I didn't like this party. There wasn't really a character that really clicked with me in this party, except Selphie kind of acts like me, as in she's a weird kid, but that's just about it. And like, I liked Renoa's design at least. I liked her angel wings on the back of her weird long coat thing. I thought that was cool. But aside from that, like, I just thought everyone's a bit samey and boring, and like there's no like magical people, and there's no like even like people of different age range or anything. You just got like a bunch of like vaguely similar 15-year-olds. The end. Didn't like it. I did like how she could fire a dog. That was my favourite. I loved Angelo the dog. As a kid, I remember grinding so much to learn all the different Angelo tricks because that was my favourite limit break. I just love it. I think as a kid, my Final Fantasy VII team was always Vincent and Kate Sif. I mean, Ketchi. I mean, however you pronounce it. I'm sure they've said it. Final Fantasy has so many unintuitive pronunciations. Wow, we've already been streaming for 36 minutes. I've barely progressed in the game. I've been getting so distracted by the good and lovely chats I'm having with you guys. Meeting the exam hall at 1600 hours. I'll announce the team assignments there. God, I really loved the exam session in the beginning of the game, seriously. I loved everything about the magical school in this game. I want to live in Balam Garden, seriously. I remember I really liked the Headmaster Sid, and then since I've... Oh, and Cypher. Don't stab people in the head. Do not injure your partner while trading. Do not give someone, like, be careful. I can't believe we're giving him just, like, a verbal telling off for the fact he's, like, permanently scarred someone. Oh, people in chat, has everyone else finished the game? Yeah, everyone else can have a go. I remember that very clearly, how Cypher punches a desk, like, how dare you give me a verbal telling off for permanently scarring some man's face and not give me even detention or anything. Field exam participants, I will see you all later. In retrospect, this is kind of a foreshadowing how Seed is not run very well, is the fact that they let Cypher get off with nothing. And Tempest, I need to talk to you. Trust me, Abby, you stop playing the game at the best part, it just gets... The entirety of this game is just that raises even more questions. That's a summary of this game. Also, interesting thing as a kid, I didn't know that you could sit back down at your desk to get your GF early. Like, otherwise you end up going out to the front of the thing and then Kisses is like, you should need to get your GF, and then you have to go all the way back to this and all that, so yeah. Oh my god, even the tutorial screen is like in low-res JPEGs. It didn't even... The cursor is somehow more low-res than it is in the regular menu? What? I know, right? It's like, it's so fucking wild and so contrived and confusing how monsters come from the moon, and every 100 years or so the moon rains monsters down, and then it's called the Lunar Cry. And I was like, Okay, exactly, Nova, exactly. It's a cool and funky idea, but they didn't do enough to explain it to make it make sense. Like, the world is mostly just like the normal human world until they suddenly get to that, where they go like monsters come from the fucking moon. It's like this game seems to flip back and forth between being sci-fi and being fantasy, and then being fantasy in a sci-fi way, and I don't even know, man. Yeah, I know, it just makes no sense. It was really cool, though. That cutscene was really cool. But I was like, what? Does this come from an entirely different game? This game is seriously like they mixed like 5 different plots together, and they just crammed them all in. Oh, that is so silly, having the menu be actually, like, increased resolution, but the background menu isn't. Yeah, anyway, you pick up your GFs here. Achievement earned! Yay! I'm gonna name this one me to live up to the ancient traditions. Because when I was a kid, I named all my GFs after me and my friends, and like, gave them like pet names and stuff. I was like, I just love the GFs so much. Quetzalcoatl, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's a Quetzalcoatl, because I don't know if it's another situation where Q is a K. But yeah, this particular GF design is my absolute favourite, because it's a slug bird. I just love it. It's a slug and a bird. It's a bird with a slug head. I love it. It's the best. It's such a good design. Yeah, exactly. Why does the moon do this? Why does the moon have monsters? Why does it send the monsters here once every 100 years? How does it send the monsters here once every 100 years? Why is everyone just okay with this? Alas, yeah. Can you imagine that, like transitioning into a giant cool monster? Like, I wish. I always found it weird that in Final Fantasy Shiva is always a female monster who's like super sexy, because isn't Shiva the name of a male god in Hinduism? So like it was a very odd name for him to pick. And maybe it was supposed to be like Shiva because it's an ice type monster, and they translated it wrong. I don't know. I was gonna call you Chills. If you have no suggestions for names, I'm just going with a terrible one. Yeah, we don't really need any of the tutorials because I already know how to play the games. I played it forever. So let's go to the info term. Country on the world's smallest continent, known for its temperate climate and warm people, Balam Garden adds a school-town feel to this country. Aw, what does a school-town feel mean? Like, is there any particular difference between a town that has a school and a town that doesn't? Each garden has an administrator called Master and a headmaster. Balam Garden's headmaster Sid was the founder of the garden, and we're just coincidentally not going to mention who the master is because that's a plot point later. Seed members are paid by the garden according to their rank. That was something I really liked in this game. Again, it was like a good idea that wasn't pulled off very well. But yeah. I liked how this game has the salary system, but again, it wasn't pulled off very well. It was like very weirdly unbalanced. In the garden, their status is no different from that of the other students, which is flagrantly wrong because lots of the time the students talk about like how seeds are so like superior and all that. Commissions made through such dispatches are an important part of Balam Garden's income. Commission me to murder some people. Yeah, big mood, seriously. Final Fantasy just stopped being very fantasy-ish after a while. For me, 9, I was okay with 9 because 9 went back to being more fantasy-ish. And that's why I liked it. That's why it was actually 9 was my favourite. But then, from then onwards, I feel like sort of like 8 was the point where the series started like falling away from being fantasy in general. And then 9 was like an attempt to dial it back with it because 9 wasn't very successful. They just like forever went, oh fuck the fantasy, we're just gonna go completely bizarre and turn off into sci-fi nonsense later on. And then they stopped doing turn-based battles. Like the turn-based battles were my favourite part. That's the reason I didn't get Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I'm really bad at action RPG battles. But aside from that, it looks really good. And honestly, the Final Fantasy VII Remakes like feels like it's a bit of a return to form, at least in terms of like good character writing and stuff. But it's still like it's sci-fi and all. But yeah. It's a shame how that happens. I've had that happen with Dragon Quest Builders too. I was like right near the end of it and I just like fell off a motivation of playing. It's hard to come back to because I know that the ending was all super emotional and stuff like that. And it's just like, how do I start it up again? Seed battle operations are noted for their skillful use of power magic. I also liked how they say that like natural magic is like something that only sorcerers can do, and like the reason you have to do draw points and stuff is because we have a different type of magic that was invented to allow humans to use magic. So yeah, I just find that was interesting, the whole magic and power magic concept, but I don't know what power even stands for. Balam Garden researches the uses of GF in conjunction with Paramagic. I always find it so weird how they don't do GFs. Well, they just say use of GF rather than use of GFs, even though it's supposed to be Guardian Forces, so like there should be an S on the end. But at least it makes for more hilarious moments where it sounds like they're actually saying GF. But yeah. For this, Balam Garden researches the use of girlfriends. Balam Garden seed members master the most powerful forms of Paramag. Monsters! Creatures on the moon! Monsters fall to Earth at regular intervals in the lunar cry. The monsters bred on the planet since the last lunar cry make up those roaming the planet at this time. The lunar cry phenomenon also transforms some animals into monsters. It can just do whatever the fuck it wants because we don't need to explain the goddamn magic moon. Thanks for looking at this page. There won't be any updates for a while. That's because I, the Garden Festival chair, will be leaving Garden. No, it's the chairman! It's Dr. Snap! I did not strive to be a seed and I won't even graduate. I devoted all my time to the Garden Festival, my passion. But in the end there was no Garden Festival. That's because no one volunteered to help out. But I have only myself to blame. I thought I alone could pull it off. Starting a new life. I sincerely hope someone will take over the Garden Festival committee. Goodbye, Balam Garden. Wimbly Dorner. I didn't know that you could see this early on. This is before Selfie takes over the Garden Committee. Wimbly Dorner, I feel so sad for you. I didn't know there was a whole backstory of someone who, like, tried and failed to do the Garden Festival. Oh, no. Wimbly Dorner, wherever you've gone, I hope you're happy. I hope you get to have a festival in whatever your new job is. I hope you start your first day in your new job and everyone throws you a big celebratory festival for joining. Seriously, Wimbly Dorner, I believe in you. True hero of Final Fantasy VIII, Wimbly Dorner! Spring Memorial Service, entrance exam rate. Oh, I didn't even know that. Memorial Service, I guess that makes sense because, like, people die so often in Seed. It must be really depressing, like, you have a frequent, like, annual memorial service for everyone who died in duty of all your classmates. The competition for the hot dogs and meals is really getting out of hand. We are doing our best to provide everyone with enough food, so please be patient and conduct yourselves in an orderly fashion. Thank you. As you well know, magic and weapons are prohibited inside the cafeteria. People are going completely fucking insane for these hot dogs. Random trivia. In the Japanese version, instead of hot dogs, it was curry bread. And finding other trivia inspired me to try curry bread, and I found out that curry bread is fucking amazing. And it's such a shame it's so hard to get curry bread. I had to get it from like a Japanese import shop, which now no longer does it because they can't do the fresh bakery section in COVID, so they don't sell them anymore. So I was hoping whenever COVID is over I get to try the curry bread again because that was fucking amazing. Exactly. Seriously. Final Fantasy fans were so fucking overly harsh on comic relief characters, seriously. Like, this is a game where the comic relief character is valued because the game is just so shitty that he stands out as a good part. Zel's adorableness saves us all. Yeah, the characters are so mean to Zel. I always got mad at Squall for being so mean to Zel when Zel just wanted to be his friend. Like, Squall is a lonely dude and Zel's the first guy who tries to be his friend and Squall never values it. In general, there is no dress code in Balam Garden. However, dress accordingly if instructed to do so by your superiors. That's blatantly false because they have a uniform and they're constantly shown wearing their uniform, and they're only not wearing their uniform when they're off on like their exams and stuff. So maybe that was written back in an earlier draft of the game or something. A lot of these bits of world building seem to be false. Like, these seem to be things that were written in an earlier draft before they actually finalised what everything looks like. The headmaster presents official commendations to outstanding students. Students who engage in violent acts, sexual promiscuity, or who fall back in their curriculum, etc. may be expelled from Garden. Except Cypher, who literally wounded a man with a permanent scar on his face and is perfectly fine. The skills acquired in the Garden must never be used for personal gain. Refrain from unless it counts the personal gain of saving the world later in the game. Refrain from committing any acts that may damage the Garden's reputation. Take time to think things through before starting a relationship. Good advice, sir. I know, right? FF7 isn't one of my favourites. I just found it was like averagely interesting when I played as a kid, and that the graphics haven't held up very well at all. I don't know why people think it's the best game in the series. It's a good game. Like, I don't dislike it, but I just thought it was a good game, not like the best game in the series. I always felt really mad how people would always treat it like the best game in the series and never consider any other game. About Balam Garden. Balam Garden Headmaster Sid Kramer. Balam Garden Proprietor Master Nog. Balam Garden was the first garden built in accordance with Headmaster Sid's ideals and dreams. As a kid, I always really liked Headmaster Sid. I just thought he had like a really pleasant, lovely smile. He reminded me of, what's his name, Robin Williams, the guy who plays the genie in Disney. I just thought he was very pleasant and nice. I liked him. Anyway, I think that's all we can see on this screen. I'm done. One more time! Bartender, give me another world building. I think you've had enough. I'll tell you when I've had enough! Now to navigate this really weirdly awkwardly thing. Awkwardly plotted out, oh, you know what I mean. I always felt like it's really weirdly uncomfortable to control a character during this particular screen because, like, you just move in a straight line down there and it's just like, blah. It just felt very uncomfortable to get up out of the seat and walk down there for some reason. Yeah, exactly. It's a relatively flawed game, but still so fun. Yeah. It's a great game, but it's not the best game in the series, and I'm not sure why people say it's the best game in the series. Shoo, Trapeze, shoo! Shoo, Trapeze, shoo! It's time to be called over by Instructor Trape. You better show some courtesy to Instructor Trape. Try to smile a little when you're talking to Instructor Trape. Kister says you haven't been to the Fire Cavern yet. This is the first game I had where it had like highlighted words like that in those weird brackets. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. I was just like, does that mean it's a button I can click on? And I still feel like every time I see that, because in Danganronpa that actually does mean it's a button you can click on to get further info on that concept. But in here there's no particular reason why it's highlighted like that. You won't be able to take part in today's seed exam if you don't pass this prerequisite. I'm always bad at pronouncing that word. Pronouncing it. I was going to go this morning, but Cypher happened to just stab me in the face. Do you have a good excuse? I was being stabbed in the face, teacher. Not really. Well, you do. You got stabbed in the face. I love that. I wish that was an exam. I want to try an enchilada. What are enchiladas like? And let's get going. If you're not too confident yet, you can review your studies at the study panel. So yeah, that's the early hint that you can go get your GFs over there. Oh, we're waiting at the front gate. But if you go down the front gate, you're just like, oh, you haven't looked at your study panel and got your GFs, here's your GFs anyway. So I don't know what the point is, really. Like, it could have made the study panel like easier to access, because like, when I first played the game, I didn't realise that you could actually click on the panel at your seat. She was like, you should go to your seat, and I was like, what do I click on, why is it not working? Because, like, it looks like it's part of the pre-rendered background and not something you can click on. Boop. Should anything happen to Instructor Trape, the Trapeze will get you back. As a kid, I never appreciated how the Trapeze are, like, three-quarters of them are women. Like, two out of three of them are women. So, like, yeah, canonical lesbian characters, I suppose. I'm so jealous. Maybe I should take up that subject too. What, the subject of GFs? Alone of Instructor Trape. Oh. That's like it's this group of two lesbians and their one straight friend. I support them. Exactly, Abby. I'm late for a very important date! Yay, selfie! Wow! You okay? You okay? I'm probably gonna choose the most, like, not rude options for Squall at every possible opportunity. Tee-hee, I'm fine! Sorry, I was kinda in a hurry. Oh yeah, hey, did you just come to my class? I remember as a kid, I didn't like Selfie very much because I've always thought she was cringy, how she acts all childish and like overly cheerful and stuff. But then I realised as an adult, I dislike her because she's very similar to me. Because like me as an adult, I've become like a lot more outgoing and you know, cutesy and all, openly cute and stuff. But as a kid, I was always trying to be all edgy and stuff. I was basically like Squall, which is probably another reason why I dislike Squall. But yeah. So yeah, I was realising how much my dislike of Selfie was just like self-hate at the time. But yeah. Oh yeah, hey, you just come from that class. Is homeroom over? Woo! Oh no! That's a weird, like, isn't woo like a good word? Woo, oh no! This face is so much bigger than my last garden. Oh hey! I just transferred here. Do you think you can give me a quick tour of this garden? When I was a kid, I always gave her a tour because I want to be nice to the new girl. Even though I didn't like her as a kid, I still, oh. And I know, it's so funny how this game, like, there are 2 video games on the PS1 where they both had a character named Selfie before Selfie became slang, and both of them ended up being incredibly fitting to, like, the actual meaning of the Selfie slang. That'd be so cool, like, seriously. Sure. It's so wild to think this game was before cell phones were really a big thing. Woohoo! Alright, let's go! It's so wild to think about how technology has advanced in my lifetime alone. Take the elevator to the 1F lobby and I'll show you the directory. So one thing I liked about both this game and Final Fantasy VII is how they have the tutorial handled by having the main character like already know all the stuff, but they're helping out another character with a tutorial. I found that was a good way of like keeping like keeping it to like make sense with the character. Like it doesn't make sense for a character who's already a super genius, super mercenary to like not know these things. So it makes more sense to have him be the one teaching it. Oh hey, would you like to have these? My brother gave me these cards, but they're really not my thing. Can have them if you like. We're not going to get sucked into Tetramaster, because if we do, this entire stream will just be Tetramaster. What? How do you play a card game? I think it'd be best to just look at the card game explanation in the tutorial. I don't know much about it, really. I can't remember the rules for Tetramaster. I remember it's very addictive and fun. If I want to play cards with someone, talk to them by pressing X. Wait, X? But isn't that a select button? Oh, it's giving me like Xbox controller things, but I've got a PlayStation controller plugged in. Keep in mind, not everyone's a card player. And by the way, I don't play, so don't bother challenging me. Hi, you have seed exam today, and you still haven't gone to the fire caravan? You're just taking it easy? I don't know. Oh, I'll take care. Brief moment of drink. Drink sustains me. The ecstasy of drink overtakes. That's the directory over there, that JPEG. Yeah, the card game, I was never very good at it because it was really hard to understand, but it was really fun for some reason. God, again, it's so weird having, like, the menus that are part of a pre-rendered background being really, really low res, but then the actual menus are not. Drinky board, like those little drinky birds, but it's just me. Well, this is it. Balam Garden is pretty big. It's a good idea to check where you want to go and select it here. I have a question. How do you use this? Move the cursor and press A to select. Press X on my controller. Next, I'll give a quick explanation of various facilities. Yes, sir! Find a dormitory to the north. Majority of the students live in the dorms. There aren't too many students who could. I remember as a kid when I was playing this, I was like, I really want to live in the dorms in school and not have to live with my parents. Which is probably early foreshadowing of how my parents were not very nice to me. It took me so long to realise I was being abused, and just fucking sucks, doesn't it? You can be so stuck in it that you think this is just how all families are. Oh, no problem, don't worry. Like, Abby, you can leave if you're the only person here. Like, I'm fine with ending the stream at any time. Like, I'm good. So, Abby, to have a really nice sleep, and I'm so glad you came and joined me in this. I hope you had fun. I'm sorry you haven't made much progress in the stream now, but whenever I stream this game again, I'll totally call you. I'm having so much fun. Like, I have so much fun streaming anything with you, seriously. You guys are so much fun. And Abby, you are especially super fun. I'm beaming especially super fun energy to you. Have a really good, sleepy, happy, nice time, and have a really good day tomorrow. And also, I'm proud of you for sleeping at a regular and good time today. I am big proud. You were taking control of your sleep schedule, but I am totally not. So, bunny pride beaming to you. Bonford fist pump through the screen. Yeah, I'm in the dorms too. You can rest and change in there. West of the north block is the cafeteria. It's always a big rush for the hot dogs. You better get used to waiting in line. Got it. East of the north block is a parking lot. As a kid, I always wondered, even before I knew that it was changing translation, I always wondered, like, were the hot dogs changing translation? Because, like, why is everyone going so crazy over hot dogs like they're a rare thing? But no, apparently in Japanese, curry bread is, like, a really common thing, too. So everyone is just going crazy over, like, a really, like, common and ordinary food. So hot dog is probably a very good translation, actually, to keep the comedy of that. You usually hit the garden car when a mission comes up. I was wondering, does it mean that everyone has a driver's license then? Does it mean like part of the curriculum is teaching them to drive when they're like 14? Oh, Abby, that is the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me. That is so sweet. That is so, my heart is so big. My heart is so big right now, Abby. I grow more powerful every time you guys are awesome friends to me. You guys are my EXP! Aw, have a really nice sleep, Abby, okay? I'm beaming you hugs. Yeah. That was so funny because, like, in later games, like, there was a character who, like, actually ran a ramen stall, so it became, like, important that Maya likes ramen, and then in that game it was like, oh, by the way, I also like ramen as much as hamburgers, and it was, like, treated as sort of a reveal in the English version, which is kind of funny. But still, I find it weird that they like, changed ramen, because, like, isn't ramen, like, one of the most commonly known, like, Japanese foods in America? So, yeah. Odd choice. I could have just, like, instead of ramen, I could have just said instant noodles. But, okay. Your front gate is located to the south. That's why I have to go meet Instructor Trape at the front gate. What's the matter? Nothing. Next we have the quad, located in the west. But what does quad mean? I never knew what quad means. Like, only way I know quad is, like, quad bikes. So, there's an event being planned there. From the way they talk about it, seems to be like a break area of some sort, or like a stage. I know, it's a garden festival. It's gonna be great. I'm planning to be on the committee. You want to help out too? Let us continue. Oh, school. You and your social anxiety, which is manifested as sort of tsundere behaviour, but it's actually rooted in shyness truly at your heart, and we were all so foolish to judge you so early in this game. You actually turned out to be kind of adorable in the end. Anyway, so for the west block is the infirmary. It's where you get treated for your injuries, but a lot of students just come here for advice, because the doctor is awesome and I want to give her a big old hug. What's the doctor's name? Dr. Kadawaki. In my head, kind of like Squall kind of looks at Dr. Kadawaki as like an anti-figure, sort of, like an auntie or a mother figure or something. I don't know. I just felt like from the talk in the intro, it felt like they were like surprisingly close. Now the east block. Also, she's just adorable. I just want to have like more content of her existing. This is a training center. It's the only facility open at night. It's used for training, and they have real monsters running loose here. If you don't take it seriously, you may just end up dead. Just be careful. I remember as a kid, the first thing I did was run to the training center because I was like, yay, monsters! And I got my ass totally handed to me by the giant T-Rex. I didn't know there was a cheat where, like, if you cast sleep on the giant T-Rex, it's super vulnerable to it, and you can actually end up defeating it early on and getting a load of EXP. So I'll try and remember that in my playthrough now. South of the east block is a library. There's a lot of material you can look up here, but the terminals in the classroom are a lot more efficient. You already know about the classroom in 2F, right? Yep, I remember that one. By the way, the headmaster's office is located on the 3F. That's just with on the 3F rather than on 3F. Huh. You need permission to get it. Like, it makes sense because, like, why do people say just 3F rather than the 3F? Because it's like the third floor, it should be a V at the beginning. It's like the opposite of the problem with GF not having an S at the end. I guess the rules for acronyms are just confusing. You need permission to get in. Another question, what's the headmaster's name? It's Sid! Just like pretty much everyone in Final Fantasy. That's about it. Anything else? Got it. This was the first Sid I saw in Final Fantasy. I was really confused to see so many other Sids in the other games. Hey, are you taking today's seed exam? Yeah. Maybe I'll see you again later. I've already finished my training in my previous garden. Taking the seed exam today too. Good luck to both of us, huh? Thanks a lot. Oh, Selfie's little wave is adorable. Squall did a good deed. Squall did a good deed. Squall came out of his shell for the first time. It's so funny how, like, the running is still, like, very statically, like, limited to 8 directions, even though the game is all upscaled and stuff. That's kind of funny. Squall's animations are very, like, bitty. Save points. Oh, I forgot. You have to walk over them and access a menu rather than just, like, clicking on them. That's actually a weird little thing that they had. Oh, no problem. I'm really fucking sleepy too. So I was going to say, is it okay if we save now? Yeah. I'm sorry we haven't made any progress, but I was getting so distracted just chatting with you guys. I'm really, really sleepy too. So I'm so glad that you're saying that you want to stop now, because usually with my streams I just keep going until you guys tell me to stop, because I'm always too shy to say that I need to stop because I'm too tired. Oh, I'm glad I'm feeling better too, because it's not been a very good day, and all that stupid stuff in the news is scary. I mean, I'm really glad for this stream being a good distraction for me, at least, and it's just nice to talk to you guys and vent stuff out, and just talk about silliness, and yeah. Hopefully next time we stream this game we'll make a lot more progress, because I think the reason I've been getting so distracted, like just talking and all that, is because I was very sleepy when I started the stream. I just felt guilty that I said I'd start the stream and then it was so delayed, and then I was like, ah. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope we'll have a much better stream next time, okay? And thank you so much, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I keep forgetting when your streams are, because I'm so excited to watch your streams. That'd be really good, because I don't know if I'll be able to do a stream of my own tomorrow, so it'd be good to watch your stream tomorrow. That'd be so nice. Oh, I'm so glad I finally have my internet good enough to watch your streams. I missed them so much. And I'm so excited to see more Twooey. How do you even pronounce it, like Twooey? That's how I pronounce it in my head. But yeah, thank you so much, and have a good sleepy times. Good night, buddy. Good night, buddy. Good night, buddy. Buddy from Bunny. But Oh, easy.